When I saw on your Instagram, you've used these like face masks that they look like you're putting egg on your face or something. That could be kind of scary. You could like run around set with this mask on your face. And
maybe when we first started, I actually ended up giving them to all my castmates too, because they always kept asking me what, it looked like I'm wearing like cheese on my face.
Welcome to Young Hollywood, guys. I'm Molly Argue, and today I am joined by Zelda Williams. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Well, you star in Never. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was from that script that really stuck out to you?
Sure. Not unlike a lot of the parts I end up playing, I really liked the fact that it was portraying a relationship that doesn't really often get to be seen. And we shot this a long time ago, so it's great it's finally coming out. But it was a lot of fun. I play a lesbian singer-songwriter that actually a straight guy falls in love with, and the difficulties of that, and it also not having the kind of ending that I think Hollywood is used to portraying with, you know, man gets woman. Right. And it's very interesting in that way of it not being about that.
And you're also a part of The Letter, and that to me sounds really relationship heavy as well.
Sure, more on friendship level.
Yeah.
I'm just the narrator, so I get to do the easy stuff, but the rest of it is young women, I think primarily, finally approaching some of the stuff that they don't say to each other's face, not in a mean way, not in a hypercritical way, but actually saying like, look, this is a problem that we think that you should know and look at in yourself.
Be open and honest. I love the premise of the show. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think as a show, it'll be really interesting to see. I think most friend groups can do the non-letter reveal to each other and should just be more open. I don't think they need to send each other anonymous letters in real life. But as a show, it'll be really great for people to see how that works and how dynamics don't necessarily have to be damaged by honest discussion.
Absolutely. And as we know, not just from something like The Letter, but finding genuine friendships I think is so special and so important. What do you like to do with your friends when you're not working?
I don't know. I mean, it's LA, so it's like occasionally we'll go to a bar and have a drink, but the vast majority of the time I'm a little too tired for that.
Stay in,
so
watch Netflix and chill.
Yeah. A lot of movies, I like to force my friends, unfortunately, to watch horror films because I'm the only one who's a huge fan of them, but they'll still occasionally listen to me and let me show them, which I enjoy thoroughly, because I don't get scared by them, so I have to live vicariously through them being afraid.
Well, and speaking of horror shows, I read on your Instagram that you're so excited to finally be a part of a horror show. What's been like the most exciting part of this experience so far, working on the show?
I mean, playing Drew has been exciting in and of itself because he's such a different character than anything I've ever done. But being on a horror show is also really fun because there is a lot of the characters I'll play, like Nikki and Never, are very close to realities that I am aware of or lived or have had friends live. Dead of Summer is not. They're at a 1980 summer camp that people keep getting killed.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see more of it. We know thus far that your character Drew is a male-identified transgender. That's been revealed recently. Can you tell us a little bit about what for you is most important about playing that character?
I mean, all of it, just because more and more recently, thankfully, there are starting to be portrayals of trans members on TV, but it's still really rare, and I actually find that female identifying characters are much more common, I think, and arguably much, I wouldn't say accepted, because there's still so many people that are very confused by the trans community and very upset about them, and that is incredibly sad and disappointing. It's interesting to finally get to portray a male identifying character for that reason, because they're not really on television ever. It's not a show for people who grew up in 1989 and weren't allowed to be who they were. It's a show for kids right now saying, maybe you can. Yeah. Maybe you have a chance to do this at that time.
And we need more of that.
I hope
that's
so.
So great. That's awesome. And going back to the horror side of it, has there been anything scary or anything, that's kind of freaked you out being on set?
Nothing freaks me out on set. But I'm also I'm the weirdo who my favorite movie is Alien, so I'm a bad example of stuff scaring me. Most of my castmates, they've had stuff that was really creepy. We film in the middle of the woods, so we have had bears and stuff where they don't get close enough for us to be like, oh crap, a bear.
Like, there's a bear over there.
We do have like there'll be a bunch of guys, ADs, running around with like bear mace, which is like a big can that actually says bear mace on it.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll get a radio that comes in and be like, so we're keeping a bear away from base camp. You're going, well, that's good. That's a good decision. You should keep doing that.
Well, I saw on your Instagram you've used these like face masks that they look like you're putting egg on your face or something. That could be kind of scary. You could like run around set with this mask on your face. And
maybe when we first started, I actually ended up giving them to all my castmates too, because they always kept asking me what it looked like. I'm wearing like cheese on my face. I really enjoy it, but they have ones that are kind of creepy where it's got like Winnie the Pooh's face on it. But of course, when you put Winnie the Pooh's face over your face, it's like real like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Snapchat filter or something. Like, yeah.
Much worse. much worse.
What's the most important piece of advice that you've ever received from a friend?
I like to say that in acting, like my dad used to say, don't wear your mic pack to the bathroom. So there you
go.
It's a good one.
Make sure that the mic is off. Your dad is the great Robin Williams, of course. Have you taken anything, any advice or any skills from him into your acting today that you really try to bring through?
I mean, the good news and perhaps the reality of it is thankfully we were very different people. So I've gotten to avoid direct comparison on that alone because I loved him very much, but I was never going to be a comedian. And it's nice that I can honor him in my own way and then continue to do what I love and always did love. And I grew up on sets. It would be a lie to say that it wasn't from finding that comfort in visiting him and seeing how happy he was and how happy he made other people. I think for him it was such a calling, and for me it's a wonderful job that I'm very grateful for, but I do it because then I can do what I love, which is, take care of my family, live. I go home most weekends and like stay with my boyfriend and my friends, and I really do. I do love what I do, but I'm just an actress. Dad was a legend, so I will keep that where it is, and I'm grateful that it wasn't something that was really discussed in my house. It wasn't. Acting was just there.
Yeah.
So I don't feel as weird being one now.
Yeah. You grew up around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it wasn't like something we talked about over the dinner table. You talked about the fact that like you won a volleyball game or you failed your math test. It was still a family house.
Well, I'm sure he's super proud, and I'm so excited to see all the things you're doing. I feel like you're everywhere right now.
The good news is I think that because also Drew doesn't really look like me, it's nice that I get the separation of being able to be happy to play Drew,
right,
and then go home and be Zelda.
Yeah, and even in Never, we were saying too, your look is very different there. So
it's fun.
Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next.